Let's talk some Auburn recruiting because on Sunday, the dead period comes to an end. We open back up to the contact period on Monday, and Auburn is going to have some big name visitors on campus over the next 5 to 6 weeks. That's why today's video, I want to know who are the most important recruits visiting Auburn this spring. I got Jeffrey Lee from Auburn Live here. We're going to break it all down. But first, you guys do me a favor. Auburn fans, hit subscribe to the On3 Recruits channel. We're trying to grow this thing. We need you to be a part of it. All right, let's bring on my most important visitor to the show, Jeffrey Lee from Auburn Live. Jeff, we're talking most important visits, and we're going to start with a pair of top linebacker prospects. Jaquez Wilkes, he's from Wadley, Alabama. I know listed as an edge, but Auburn recruiting him as a middle linebacker. And Anthony Davis at Grayson High School in Georgia. Tell me about these two and why they're so important.
Well, I think Auburn could use some momentum going into the spring. Auburn could use some momentum, could use some commitments. And I feel like for Anthony Davis, Auburn is maybe even the team to beat for him. Now, I don't know where he stands on Auburn's board. He could be number one for all I know. I know Auburn is recruiting him. Kenyatta Watson has a great relationship with him. DJ Durkin has been on him. So he is an important recruit. Getting him back on campus, in my mind, Anthony Davis is kind of a momentum guy. If you want to get some momentum going, if you want to get a commitment on board, he would be one to certainly get in as many times as possible. As for Jaquez Wilkes, you've got a guy here, a local guy. He's within an hour of Auburn, small school up the road at Wadley High School. He wasn't able to come to Auburn's big junior day in January, so getting him campus, because right now it seems like Tennessee, Texas A&M might have some momentum with him. So I think, and he's very high on Auburn's board. We have confirmed that Auburn's very high on this guy. So I think getting him back on campus, getting back up on his list a little bit, will be big for Auburn for this spring.
Yeah, momentum's something every team in America is going to want coming out of this dead period. And because we didn't see a whole lot of commitments in the month of February, but I guarantee we're going to see a whole lot more in March and April. All right, moving on to the next one. Defensive lineman Aiden Harris. He's the number 2 ranked defensive lineman in America from North Carolina. What's Auburn doing in this recruitment?
Trying to get back up top. Auburn was the team to beat back in the fall, and it looked like he and his twin Andrew both were going to commit to Auburn soon after a visit back in the season. Well, that was postponed, and then they came back and was going to commit again, and that again was postponed. Well, neither one of those two guys have been back on campus since then. So Auburn's lost some momentum with both of those guys, and they were supposed to in January for the big junior day. They weren't able to make it. So getting them back is absolutely crucial for Auburn. And neither one of them have scheduled an official visit that we're aware of, but they are both expected to be back April the 5th for the Big Cat weekend.
All right, let's stay on the defensive side of the ball. This time it's safety Jaira Edwards, 6'1", 200 pounds. He's the number 4 ranked safety in America. Really, he's a borderline 5-star prospect, top 50 overall. I know Auburn's been buzzing in this recruitment. Why do you have him on this list?
Got to keep buzzing. Got to keep it going, Josh. Got to keep – they have a little momentum going with him. With that St. Francis Academy connection, he was here for that junior day in January. He's scheduled an official visit for May 16th. If you can get him back, and right now he's tentatively scheduled to be April the 5th. So I think anytime you can get a guy who's, out-of-state kid from Maryland, get him back on campus as much as you can is absolutely vital. Georgia's making some noise with his recruitment. Oregon's making some noise with his recruitment. He's not opposed to leaving town. His teammate Zion Ely is committed to Maryland. I know Maryland is going to do all that they can to keep all these guys home, but Auburn got to keep plugging away with him. Getting him back on campus as many times as possible is going to be big for Auburn. Trying to get him away from Georgia, Oregon, Maryland.
All right, let's flip to the offensive side of the ball. Going into the state of Georgia is what Auburn does. So offensive lineman Wilson Zaire, he comes in at 6'6", 280 pounds. Is he going to be on campus this spring?
Yes, he is. He is expected to be on campus for Big Cat in April the 5th. I think he has exploded in the recruiting world. He's kind of an unranked guy by most networks, if not all. but Auburn is very high on this kid. His older brother, Killian, played for Auburn a couple of years ago, so there's a connection there. And Auburn's very high on this guy. He's added a bunch of offers in the past 2 weeks, so he's the guy who's kind of blowing up, if you will, in the recruiting world. I think this is a momentum guy for Auburn. I think Auburn has a leg up on some of these other programs, having his brother pushing Auburn with him. So I think he's a momentum guy. Anytime Auburn can get an offensive tackle committed, it's a big deal, especially for its fans, especially for our members. So I think he's a momentum guy. Get him on campus, lock him up as soon as possible, and go from there.
All right, and the last name on the list is a big one. The number 3 overall prospect in America, number 1 wide receiver Tristan Keys. And I think I know why he's on this list. I think Auburn has some ground to make up on Tennessee in this recruitment.
Completely agree. Tennessee, even Alabama's in that mix, but Auburn, he's obviously a top wide receiver. Two of Auburn's top wide receivers on the board, I would imagine, are Tristan Keys and Jace Matthews, both of those guys from Mississippi. And both of those guys kind of have some ground to make up, but more so with Tristan Keys. I think Auburn got in earlier with Jace Matthews when he was a nobody, according to the rankings. He was just a low 3-star, but Auburn loved that kid. And now he's a future potential 5-star on On3. I think he's the number 3 wide receiver according to On3. Auburn certainly loves that kid. Tristan Keys have some ground to make up with Tristan Keys. So I think getting him back on campus as soon as possible and as many times as possible is going to be key for Auburn in his recruitment.
All right, Auburn fans, talk to Jeffrey Lee and I. We gave you 5 or 6 top names coming into the Plains this spring. How many do you think Auburn lands? Let us know. Comment section below.